Hello, everybody, and may you all have a nice October. Um, I know it is the month when Halloween is coming, and a lot of things are going to happen. Um, Now, because it is the first, I almost did the monthly chat last Saturday, just because the first Saturday of the month is. So far in the month, but then I just went, no, I promise that I will do it this way, so let me just stick to the to whatever I have established. So let's see what we are going to talk about today. Number one is all the projects that I have started in these past few weeks and where we are going to go from there. Hello, Mia Nels. Hi, Cherry. Um, So, number one, I know that a lot of you are waiting for, hi Fran, are waiting for the sugar skull cane. I have explained on Facebook. So, if you haven't subscribed on my Facebook page, you don't know. But you heard me talking quite a bit in these past few months that unfortunately the last batch of Premo that I got was really, really bad. And something like this happened also last year. It's when the white, and I honestly think it has to do with the pigment because the souffle is also a little bit like that too. What happens is that the white is exceptionally stretchy. Hi, Don. Good to see you too, Mia Nels. Is exceptionally stretchy and exceptionally soft. Trying to leach it doesn't really do much good when it comes to caning. And when trying to use it in a cane, because it's so soft and stretchy, it will push out way more than the other colors. And that leads to a lot of clay, what I call it clay wastage. So I did order new clay from PolyClay Play. I did not order this time the 1 pound bars, just in the fear that it might be the same batch, because unfortunately I threw away the packaging, so I wasn't able to tell Trish if it was the same batch or not. So I got some 8 ounce bar just to see how good it is. And if it is good, then I'll order more. If not, I don't know, I'll probably have to go to the local Hobby Lobby and see if they have a different batch. But I'm supposed to get the clay in the mail Monday. I was hoping it would be today, but it's not. So as soon as I get it, I will go ahead and I will do the third and fourth part of it. Because definitely I cannot do properly a cane that has so much white in it. It would be absolutely horrible to try to work with this white. As for the other things, as I have said in the results of the cabochons of Spider Side, um, I did start working on a jewelry set, and I am taping it, so it will be a tutorial. When it comes to the 7 ways of making Natasha beads, yes, I will make also 7 ways of doing bezels and 7 ways of doing veils on that. And I'll even try to get it a little bit even shorter. So you would have something that would be very compact if you want a point of reference on doing something. Hi, Cecile. Um, as for the other things, I know I do have a few projects unfinished, and I put them a little bit on the back burner just because of the Halloween and Day of the Dead event. Oh, and I forgot to bring something. Hold on just a second. I'm sorry, I just forgot to bring it. This is what I found yesterday at the Family Dollar. And if you have a Family Dollar near you, you might want to check it. And I will put it in the in the beginning of the final skull cane because it's just so awesome. Watch this. Okay, I'm trying to get it not to have any reflection. It's a wall hanging, but it's just so awesome. Oh, what do you think? And they had a whole bunch of these holographic thingies. It was like $2. So yeah, it's just awesome. And yes, it is. It was at the Family Dollar store in the whole Halloween thing, and they had some that were with like Victorian kind photos, and that they were also shifting with the faces of the people, kind of half of the face becoming a skull, and the same for the hands becoming skeletons. I mean, they were absolutely gorgeous. My best friend got one for her mother because her mother is in a retirement home and she can put decorations for holidays only on the door. No, no, no. They had quite a bit of designs. They had more of these regular skulls changing to Day of the Dead skulls, and they had several of the Victorian style photos. So, yeah, you can go and you can see because they were quite a bit. I don't know if you can find them online. I will be looking. Honestly, I will be looking on Amazon to see if you can find them on Amazon. And if you can find them on Amazon, I'm going to put a link in the video description after the live is done. But anyway, so as I said, I put some of the projects that I had started at the beginning of end of August and beginning of September uh, on the back burner for a little bit, just because of yes, they are stunning because of the Halloween and Day of the Dead events. And yes, I will make more canes. My issue was with the clay, but I have ordered more Fimo, so I wouldn't have any more surprises with the Premo white. Don't get me wrong, I love Premo. I don't consider it a super quality clay. As I said in my little thing for clay for beginners, I consider it the workhorse. The biggest issue I have with it is that it's not a consistent brand. No, I mean, why would I? It's not. And believe me, I had interaction with Polyform before, and I mean, it's one of those things that that's the story. I'm sorry if it's a little graphic, but we have a saying in Romania. It's like you see some horseshit in the road and you tell someone, oh, that's horseshit. And they're like, no, it's honey. No, it's horseshit. No, it's honey. And they would put their finger in it and suck on their finger and smile at you and say, no, it's honey. I mean, that thing with, I think that the American thing is that don't pee on my leg and tell me it's raining. But I mean, I know last year, and it was a little bit before the whole translucent problem, because there was a problem with the translucent, and before the white problem, I had noticed I had some batches of the peacock pearl that barely had any kind of mica in it. And I actually did a mica shift with the peacock pearl, and using the exact same stamp. I did it with, I forgot if it was the sunset or the magenta. And I actually taped it, and it was very clearly visible that the peacock pearl barely had any kind of mica. And I said, look what's happening. You might want to check. I'm sure that what I'm sure is happening, I'm sure that they have several manufacturing sites. And on one of those sites, the people do not respect the proper composition. Look what's happening. And I had also made one with the old peacock pearl. And I said, look what's happening. This is the old, this is the new, this is another color. You can see that the new does not have enough mica to do a proper mica shift. They replied to me, oh no, we never change our recipe. We never, the peacock period is all fine. I said, okay, right. So this is a brand that you cannot really be very rely on a lot. But because it's so affordable and so easy to get to, and again, it's not, as I said, it's not a super duper clay, but it is a reliable enough clay to use every day. But yeah, I'm not very happy with their customer customer service relation department, representative department. Yeah, and talking of which, and I will do some review later. I can say that in all this crafting world, the number one most horrible customer relation company I ever encountered is Prima Marketing. Don't get me wrong, I love most of their products. I will use them. None of the tutorials I made with their products were sponsored in any way, shape, or form. But when it comes to customer relations, they absolutely suck. And I think that this comes from the fact that they are a family owned, it's some Asian family where all the positions are occupied by children, daughters, son-in-laws, whatever. So they don't really care about how they talk to their customers because they know that they wouldn't never get fired. And depends. And see, that's why I said in that a small video I made for beginners, when you choose your clay, you have to have in mind what you choose it for. Because there is no clay that is good for everything. That is for sure. For example, if you want to do anything that involves deformation, like a mokumegane, or even on a mica shift and things like that, you want a soft clay. Because what happens when you have a firm clay, and as I said, I will go back and do some of the polymer clay for beginner techniques tutorials now that I have a better equipment. I will redo the ones that I did last year and a year and a half ago, and kind of expand a little bit with more information on the technical details. But what happens, for example, when you do the mokumegane, and I have a whole bunch of paper towels here because I worked on something. And I'm going to explain to you what happens when you have a soft clay and what happens when you have a firm clay. So I have here some paper towels that have been all crumpled. Okay, and then let me grab a few paper towels that would be nice and stiff, because this is the best way to explain to you what happens. Okay, so if you have a soft clay, all right, and you poke a hole, that clay that is soft will start pulling on the neighboring areas. So you'll get that deformation going on a wide range in the soft clay. If you have a firm clay and you poke, that deformation will stay in a very, very minor area. The clay that's farther away will not move. So if you want to obtain a nice mokumegane, you want a soft clay. The same way, if you want to do sculpting with a lot of fine detail, you need a clay that is very firm. So, and it's the same thing for the translucent clay. It depends what you want to do with it. Um, Yes, if you go, Holly, if you go on my channel, I actually made playlists that are special for um, beginners. Now, with Primo being crumbly, I don't agree with that. If it gets crumbly, that means that either you did not condition it properly or you did not bake it properly. It does get yellowish. If you do not have access to a better translucent, you can put just a grain, a tiny, tiny grain of ultramarine in it, and it will brighten it up. The same as, in the old times, our grandmas were putting a little bit of methylene blue when they were washing the white, doing laundry on whites. But if you want to cover something up, the best translucent overall, number one is Pardo, number two is Cernit. Fimo would be kind of like in between because even if it is white, like the Cernit and the Pardo, it is not as translucent. Ultramarine clay, yeah, but you have to put, like if you have, let's take a 2 ounce bars, put about, um, I don't know, about the size of a grain of rice of ultramarine for the whole 2 ounce bar. That should brighten it up a little bit. Um, and Cernit is very nice and very translucent, but it is a very soft clay. So if you need a translucent to cover something up, and if you want a very good quality, then you get Cernit. If you didn't watch my the video that I just made, because I started the series about polymer clay for beginners, where I'm going to give I know there are a lot of polymer clay for beginners videos out there that tell you all kinds, like 20 tips and tricks for beginners, but I decided to do something that would go in a little bit more detail so you can have more information and can be a more informed decision. Cernit, you can buy it at it's clayfactory.com or clayfactory. It's a company that belongs to Marie Segal, the artist Marie Segal, and it's based in California. And she sells Cernit, and you can find all the colors there. No, clayfactory.net. So clayfactory.net. Let me put up the link. And you can get not just Cernit, but a whole bunch of other things. So here is where you get Cernit. And if you want, Cernit is exceptional, as I said in that video, if you want to do flowers. But it's not good to do something that has very fine detail just because it is so soft. But it has this superb translucency and a little bit of transparency. And when you do it, it has on the non-translucent, on the solid colors, the nature, I think it's called, the line, it almost looks like alabaster. It's beautiful. And Pardo is the best clay that I know of, but with Pardo you have to be a little bit more advanced because it conditions differently. You need to know how to work it, and I will continue making more Pardo tutorials. I promise you, as soon as the Halloween is gone. Okay, let me see, what other questions, if you had other questions. Yes, I saw that, and I did not, unfortunately, I did not have the means to get any Cernit yet. Maybe after the new year, I'll be able to order some Cernit, because when the year ends, people need to pay their real estate taxes. So I'm afraid I won't have any extra budget to put in for the Cernit. But I will definitely get some Cernit because I saw some people. Well, see, I think that if you want to do mica shift, as I said, even if they are too soft, they should work well. I'm very curious is because if you remember last year, I did a comparison between Premo, Pardo, and Cernit when it comes to mica shift, and I was not very impressed with the Cernit pearlescent because number one, the mica particles were quite big. They were almost like a sparkle. A sparkle is something sparkler. It's something that's between mica powder and glitter. So it's not as big as glitter, but it's a little bit bigger than the mica powder. So Cernit had something similar to a sparkler, much bigger than the regular mica powder, but that would have been okay, but it didn't seem to have enough to do a proper. The thing that I showed how to reduce the plaquing or how to increase the plaquing is valid for all translucent clays. So it's not just about Pardo. You can use the same technique on Premo, on Cernit, on any translucent clay, and I don't know. Let me see. Let me put the link here. Let me look for the link. Okay. Okay, so I have the thing about Pardo, and I said at the end of the video, I actually said that you can use the exact same thing for any of the other translucents. So you can use this way of conditioning for any other translucent. Okay, so yeah, I will look for some of the new Cern metallic after the holidays. Now, other announcements that I wanted to make. I am seriously considering putting it a new tier of sponsorship. Many of you know that I have, at this point, I have three tiers. The tier 0 that's $1 a month and can watch the sponsors only live I do on the last Friday of every month. And that one I try to keep separate from the other. If in the others, I might do a series, but for the last Friday of every month, I try to have it separately. And then I have the $5 a month sponsorship that has access to all the sponsor lives, gets a special tutorial a month that is 2 weeks, sponsors only, and then I release it in the store. So the $5, the tier 1, gets access to one of these tutorials for free. That would be under $15 value, and then the tier 2 gets access to that one plus over $15 value. And I was thinking of actually making an extra tier that would have access to all the lives without having access to extra tutorials, but all the lives for $3 a month. So I'm seriously considering this, and please let me know what you think about this. Then other things that I will be hopefully starting Monday, I'm going to put out packages for the Tiger's Eye series. Because as you know, I released a full Tiger's Eye tutorial that shows you how to make 5 different types of tiger eye: the regular golden, the red, the blue, the green, and the variegated. And then I released the Maramamba And earlier in the year, I released the for Peterside. Now, what happens? Both Maramamba and Peterside are actually tiger's eye. Now, I don't know how to explain it differently. Maramamba is found only in Australia, and it takes its name from the mine, and it's a specific type of tiger's eye that has all the colors of tiger's eye in it, while Petersite can be found in a few more places in the world, not very many, and it's the product of tiger's eye decay. And then, so the fibers of the tiger's eye are decaying and separating, and then you have quartz coming in and cementing it. And this is how you get under the massive tectonic forces. And this is how you get those beautiful storm cloud effects. So all three of them belong in the same family of gemstones. And I'm seriously considering to put out packages. So if somebody wants to get the tiger's eye and the maramamba, or the tiger's eye and the petersite, or the maramamba and petersite, or then yes, they will be more expensive, but I can promise you they are worth it. And then also in November and December, I will make all over. What do you mean, my technique ideas? Oh, to send me technique ideas. Yeah, sure. You know you can always contact me by email or on Facebook. Um, and then in November and December, I will definitely put up a store-wide sale. So if you want to buy somebody something, you will be able to. And yes, I finally got myself some CBD oil vaping, and I think it's time for me to take my pill. See, I'm good. I brought my pill here. Now, the other thing that I'm going to start, because I got a lot of requests from a lot of you who either have a YouTube channel or are thinking of starting one. And I got a request if I could make a few videos telling you about some of the musts and must nots and secrets of, you know, how to get a successful YouTube channel going, and what would be good to do, and you know, generally also about the online presence. As you know, a full-time consultation was part of the, and will continue to be part of the prize for the Imagine contest. Hi, Colin and Luciana. Yes, I will talk at the end about my health, no worries, and about the pet's health as well. Um, So yeah, I will start with that as well, telling you what are the best ways to start a YouTube channel, be it if you want to do tutorials, or if you want to do just a presentation of your work, or and so on. And so all October will be busy mostly with Halloween and Day of the Dead stuff. I still will do the bezels, at least for the 7 ways. And I do have in plan the um, Navajo thing. And another thing that I'm working, I hope to put it up, if not today or tomorrow, by the latest Monday. And it's just a secret. I'll show you how it looks like. But I'm not going to tell you how I made them. You'll have to wait for the tutorial. I am going to make 4 glass leaf earrings. Let me make sure that I put them properly in front of the camera. As you can see, they are fully transparent, and they have some It's hard to make the camera focus, but they do have a lot of sparkle and mica, and they will be gorgeous as earrings, and you can make them up. And I'm making a few colors and shapes and show you how to get them made with cheaper materials and with more expensive materials. And I hope that you will like them. Um, Hi, Tia Lisa. Hello to Brazil. And yes, another thing that I'm going to make, because I got a lot of requests as well on that. A lot of people ask me, you know how to work with resin. You've always said that you don't want to do 4 gemstones in resin because there's no challenge, but please show us some. So I will do some of that as well, because it's not that difficult for me, even if and I do have several resins, and I have another thing that I am going to test for you. And again, I forgot to bring it, so give me just a second if I remember where I put it. No, I'll have to look for it. Anyway, it's a type of varnish. Oh, it kind of looks like a resin. I mean, you can use it to do three-dimensional, and it's not Mod Podge. It's made by a company in California, and it's cheaper than resin. That's pretty much all I can tell you. It's something with like ice, crystal something. I don't know. I got it at the local bead store, and I'm going to look for it online to be able to add it to my Amazon influencer. And we'll see if Trish can get it too with PolyClay play. And another thing that look forward to, because Trish finally, and I announced on my Facebook page, and please, if you did not yet get to be a follower of my Facebook page, I always announce all kinds of things on the Facebook page. So if you want to be updated with what will follow, because a lot of times I will say, hey, I'm going to work on this, so I bought this. So if you want to be prepared for the tutorial, this is what I got. And if you want to have it already when I'll show the tutorial. So if you didn't subscribe yet for my Facebook page, make sure you do so. I will put again the full links after the live is done, but you can find everything on my channel. And what she got, because I got them on AliExpress. And as you know, on AliExpress, you can find a whole bunch of stuff cheap, really cheap. Only that it takes between 4 and 8 weeks to get it. So I went for some cutters, and I really loved them. And I told Trish, and Trish said, okay, I'm gonna go get them, but don't do any tutorial until I have them in. So we don't get people all frustrated that you show how to do something and there's nowhere for them to buy it, or they would have to wait forever. So she finally got them. She only is waiting for one more, and I'll make sure that I leave the tutorial for that last. But I will be making some tutorials with those cutters, and they are very cheap. I can tell you that they are makings level cheap, not Premo's cutters cheap, makings level cheap. And they are metal. I always preferred the metal cutters because they cut much better. You don't have to start fixing the edges, and they can also go in the oven, and you can make those puffy beads and pendants with them. So yeah, look forward for that. Now, if you have any other questions, go ahead and tell them, and I will tell you about the health. The ones of you who follow me on Facebook know that I had another little scared with Whisper, because again, he woke up with his tooth swollen. But we went to the vet, he got antibiotic, and the swelling is gone, and his liver enzymes are still high, but they are more to the normal. And So with the pets, there's nothing super special at this point. I I did have some health scares that are not over. So I went and I saw my oncologist about all this fatigue that I've been having lately that doesn't respond properly to medication, and some new pains I've been having. And he ordered a PET scan, and I had a PET scan, and I had a few places that lit up, and that would be especially a few lymph nodes on the side where I did not have cancer before. So on the 11th, I'm going to see my breast oncologist, and we'll see if he decides to do ultrasound or if he decides to do biopsy or whatever. On one hand, the tumor markers came back normal. The thing is that the tumor markers are not always 100% accurate. So honestly, without a biopsy, it's not always perfectly accurate, and sometimes not even with a biopsy, it's not always perfectly accurate. I mean, when I had the breast cancer, I did the biopsy, and the biopsy came back that it was non-invasive cancer. And then after I had the mastectomy and the pathology came back, I had two types of non-invasive cancer and three types of invasive cancer, all in the same tumor, and it had traveled through the lymph nodes. So, yeah, sometimes until they remove everything, you can never know. But let's hope that is just something that's not very serious. Tal won't know until after the 11th, and I will keep you updated on my Facebook page. On the other hand, on the 19th of October, I celebrate 9 years of survivorship. And as usual, I will have my best friends with me. Um, and we will have my celebration dinner. And what I would like to do, one, I will be spending some time with you all to celebrate, probably late afternoon after my friends are gone, so we can celebrate together too. And then I hope to be able to, because I know that a lot of people heard me talking about it and they asked me, I might actually tape myself making the celebration dinner. And I hope you will like it. That will be a little bit off the polymer clay thing. But yeah, I was also requested to put a little bit more that would be more vlogging type, not just the polymer clay tutorials. And also I was asked to, if possible, because last month, if you remember, I did a little bit of a pep talk. And I was asked if it is possible to talk more about it. And I think I will be, I'm not sure at this point if, because I'm seriously considering starting another channel that would be more on the vlogging type and more on the, the whole cancer survivorship and living with the side effects of cancer treatment and living with chronic pain and in that style. I don't think that I should mix that with this channel, because even if my Kalyana channel is mostly, I know my primary audience and the audience that I'm targeting is elderly. I mean, definitely over 45. And you know that I most of the time try to show you how to do things, even if your hands are hurting, or how to do some things that, because a lot of the people who are elderly and who have chronic pain and who have had some type of illness that makes them unable to do certain things. The truth is that we do not have a high income. So a lot of times it is very frustrating to see all kinds of things shown by polymer clay artists and not be able to do them because you do not have the financial means. And even if lately I did start putting up some tutorials with more expensive materials, because of course some of you have asked me to do that as well. I'm always trying to show how to do things without spending a whole bunch of money, or I would also give the option on how to do the same thing, if possible, using less expensive materials. But again, yeah, this is a channel that is on crafting tutorials, essentially on polymer clay. As I said, I might add the resin because a lot of you have asked, but I don't really want to go too wide because, yeah, I do know how to do crocheting, I do know how to do painting, I do know how to do a whole bunch of stuff, but I don't want to make it like, like a farmer's market. Um, so I think that on all these type of pep talk and all kinds of tips on how to live with chronic pain and all that, uh, that is wonderful, Holly. Congratulations, yay. Um, so yeah, I'm seriously thinking of opening another channel that would be referring strictly to this. um, because there are a lot of things that can be said and a lot of tips and resources that can be shared. And I would really love to, because see, and I said before, I'm a member of the community of breastcancer.org, and that is the largest forum in the world of breast cancer patients and survivors. We are over 200,000 now. And I did actually start a donation meme on Facebook about that. The ones of you who follow me know it. Um, but see what happens. The forum of breastcancer.org 9 years ago, when I was first diagnosed with breast cancer, was a lifesaver because honestly, people who have not gone through it cannot understand. And it's normal. I mean, I'm not blaming somebody who hasn't gone through it for not understanding. Um, but being able to go in a place where there are a lot of people, because we do have a few men too, and that's another issue. Not everybody is aware that men can get breast cancer too, not as often as women, but they can. Um, and it's so great to be able to go in a place and ask questions and just plainly vent and discuss with somebody who has gone through or is going through what you're going through. It's so helpful. And a lot of us who have been surviving for a longer time, because unfortunately that's the only bad part about it. Um, Pinktober never tells you about the ugly part. It tries to prettify and pinkify breast cancer. The ugly part is that a very high number of the women who are diagnosed with breast cancer, because you're never cured, the cancer will come back and will metastasize. So throughout the years, we keep losing sisters, and unfortunately, new sisters join. But the ones of us who have been surviving for a longer time always go back there and try to encourage and give advice and give support to the newly diagnosed. Um, and that's why I thought that it might be helpful for others if I would start a channel in which I would try to address all these issues. because I can remember 9 years ago when I was first diagnosed, the mental hell I went through. So yeah, and but again, I don't think that would be fit for this channel. So considering the fact that what I would do on that channel would be mostly talking, it shouldn't take too much of um, an extra work for me, because I wouldn't really do any kind of editing. I would just tape myself talking, right? So shouldn't be that bad. As it would be a vlogging channel. But anyway, um, so look forward to. I have. I cannot move that camera, so I cannot show you Whisper. And it started raining, because that's why I slacked a little bit in the last few days, because I had to mow, and I cannot use a push mower because I don't have the muscles in my back that help pushing and pulling. So I have to use a weed eater, and after I use a weed eater, the vibrations, because of my cervical spine issues, I mean, I have to recover for hours after I do that. And because we had so much rain and I couldn't mow, we had then a few days of no rain, and now last night another wave of rain coming. So I had to mow. That's why I wasn't able to work a lot on stuff. And then, as I said, I had to go to doctor's appointments. And when I go to a doctor's appointment, that day is completely lost for me, because it just wears me out. As I said, I've been having all these fatigue issues that have started last year. I mean, honestly, when I started last year, if you remember, I was practically posting a tutorial a day. And then sometime at the end of July, beginning of August, I started getting fatigued. And I went through like 2 months of fatigue. And when I was starting to get better, that's when Whisper started getting sick. And then I took him to the vet, and he was diagnosed with liver cancer. And I brought back from the vet, without knowing, the virus that made Connor and Seamus sick. So then we went through a whole deal of them being sick. And then in January and February, I had all kinds of issues with opening a new website and all that. So I can say that I'm slowly trying to get better. I did get the chair, the ergonomic chair. I wasn't able to find any of the Super Duper DX Racer on sale with the money that I had, but I was able to get another good brand chair that was on sale, like almost 50% off. I just need to take it out of the box and put it together. So I hope to be able to do that soon. It was delivered over 10 days ago. And my next, so I'm waiting to see the eye doctor towards the end of the month. And that's when I will get new eyeglasses, because I definitely need those. And then the next thing that I want to get, I finally found better lights that don't cost an arm and a leg. They are about $40 each of them. I will definitely have the money to get one of them when I get the Amazon influencer earnings on the gift card. And another thing that I need to talk to you about. So I will be able to get at least one of them, because I found one, some kind of circular LED thing, but I would have to install it on the ceiling, and that would be a pain. But these ones are a little bit like the lights that I have now, only that the flexible gooseneck is much longer, so I would be able to bring them here, because that's the only thing that I still lack in my videos, is a better lighting. And they are much brighter than the lights that I have right now. And talking about the wish list, and number one, let me start with how much I appreciate the ladies who sponsor me, and without whom all the tutorials that I make, well, not all, but the tutorials that I make would not be possible because with my income I wouldn't be able to afford to get the materials, to get all the stuff to experiment with. I would still probably be able to make, I don't know, a tutorial or two a month, but very simple. But with the support I get from the people who sponsor me, either as a monthly sponsorship or as a one-time monthly donation, or by buying things from my Amazon wish list, or simply buy, because there are a lot of people who cannot afford to sponsor me, but who still buy things for themselves. So whenever you go and you purchase your clay or whatever else through my affiliate links, that gives me, a few cents commission, and they add up and they allow me to buy the things that I need for tutorials. One thing that I did, and you will see that is new in my Amazon wish list. I am not putting anymore a list of the things that I need or that I want to try for new tutorials. Instead, I have put Amazon gift cards, and that is for a simple reason. Because Amazon still didn't fix their mechanism of dealing with the wish list. And what happens? Somebody would buy something for me from my wish list. The only way that I know that somebody bought something for me from my wish list is that the item goes from the unpurchased to the purchased. But I have no idea who got it for me. I have no idea. I get no tracking number. I get no order number. I get no nothing. So I'm sitting there and I'm looking, okay, so this moved to the purchase list Tuesday. And I'm waiting and I'm waiting. And if 2 weeks later I still don't see anything showing up, that means one of the two things, because it happened before. People would go on my wish list and would go on one of the items and they would buy it for themselves, but it would still show on my purchase list. Or something would happen, it would be delayed, it would be lost, and the only way that I could find out would be to actually call Amazon and tell the customer service, hey, I'm an artist and I have a wish list, and people are nice enough and kind enough to buy stuff for me, and I know that somebody bought for me this. Can you be so kind to see where it is? And sometimes hi Tina, and sometimes I get smart customer service, and sometimes I would get, like, one time I got the lady, can you tell me who got it for you? No, I have no idea who got it for me, because you guys don't tell me who gets it. Do you have an order number? What part of I don't know you didn't get? I had to get to her supervisor. But anyway, it would mean a lot of stress and time for me to find out whatever somebody got for me, where it is. So I decided to simply put gift cards, and don't be deterred by the fact that it shows $50. The thing is that I try to make them with different amounts, but no matter what I put there, um, Amazon automatically puts the $50. But when you click on it, you can choose whatever amount you want. And you can just simply put money on gift cards for me on Amazon, and I can then go and get whatever I need and I want to try, for the tutorials. I thought that it is a much better way. And then I also put there, and if you did not realize, you can also buy for me gift certificates with PolyClay Play. That would also help go, that would go towards me purchasing materials, because I honestly think that this is the best way for somebody to support me, because this is what I need support for. I need support for um, getting the materials and equipment that I need to make the tutorials. Because whatever extra money I would get from all this, that would be Let me see. I did not change it, but if you're on a desktop and did not change your, did not delete your cache, it might still take you to the old link. Let me see. And I know that some of my older videos, I have to go through all of them because some of my older videos still have the old Facebook link. I changed it from Kalyana Jewelry to Kalyana Design Tutorials. Let me see. No, it should show it just fine. You probably didn't update your, you didn't clean your cache. So it would be, let me give you the direct link in the chat. This is the direct link to the Facebook page. If it shows it, it should show it. Because I don't see the reason why it would strip it. But anyway, so as I said, whatever extra money I might make out of this, that's why I sell the tutorials for. And those, honestly, what I use for that is to simply get me supplements that otherwise I cannot afford. And to be very honest, better food. Because you can imagine what, 770 bucks a month, I cannot really, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not complaining, I can cover all my needs, but sometimes it can get tight. And with Whisper needing a special diet, and again, I'm not complaining, he's alive, he's happy, but it can get a little bit tight sometimes. But yeah, these are the two things that I wanted to say. The change about the three things. The change about the wish list that I have on Amazon. The fact that you can also get me gift certificates on PolyClay Play. And I know that I usually don't talk about the whole pecuniary thing. I was told that I should. Um, and me thinking that I might actually get an extra tier of sponsorship, because I think that $3 is not a big amount, and a lot of the people who otherwise could not afford a higher um, monthly sponsorship would still get a very good value for the sponsorship, having access. Because I promise at least 2 lives a month, sponsor only, but most of the time I do kind of once a week. Sometimes I might get on even more than once a week with my sponsors. And there are things that I don't even make paid tutorials about. They are pretty much all kinds of tips and tricks and things that I'm working on. And sometimes I might make tutorials about that, but most of the time they stay there just for my sponsors. And what I have now, the $5 and $10 a month, they have access to all the lives I did from the beginning, and that would be the same for the $3 a month that I'm projecting to do. So now that we took the money out of the way, as I said, I will continue with the polymer clay for beginners. Next one will be about purchasing the polymer clay. If you want to purchase it in the store, what you should look for. If you want to purchase online, just what were my experiences and why I stick with PolyClay Play with Trish and not with others, even if there are a couple other places online that sell the clay cheaper and other things cheaper. It's just because of the experience I had with them. And then also about conditioning the clay and storing the clay. And then after that, maybe before that, because a few people have asked me about that, I will do one about the translucents. And then, about stamps, about molds, about surface effects, and, kind of like a rundown And also, I will try to present to you, if you did not look on my website yet, and I'm going to link the article here, because until I get to making all these videos, you can always go on my website and look, because I have an article that I wrote on how you can start with a minimum investment, and then just keep buying things as you go. Like, you can use a jar. Um, I know, but see, that's the deal. What I'm going to do in that, how to do your online presence, I'm going to explain how you can do all these things without, because I did not have any kind of money for advertising. And as you know, I started this channel last year on May 4th, and I could not afford any kind of advertising. I cannot afford to hire a marketing consultant. This is all done through my own knowledge. It helps a lot that I used to be a web developer, that I used to be a marketing consultant, that I used to be a lot of other things. And this is why I want to help you to grow, not just like an artist, but also as a YouTuber, and be able to make a little bit of income and make a, impact on other people's lives. So what was I talking about? Oh yeah, how you can start with whatever's around the house, and then slowly, getting one thing at a time. Like, you can start with using a jar as a rolling pin, and then after you can put money aside, you can get um, a roller and things like that. So I have this article on my website, and until I get around to do the videos, you can go there and you can see what you would need in order to be a good professional artist. Because one of my main purposes when doing all my videos and the tutorials and um, everything is in order to help people grow in a good way, not just as artists and expanding their knowledge and expanding their creative power and getting confidence in themselves, but also helping them grow into being able to have a good online presence without having to spend tons of money. How to do a good YouTube video, how to start without a lot of money, how to set up your channel, how to make the videos, what are the do's and don'ts. And it is work. I mean, that is without a doubt. This whole thing with the having a YouTube channel and an online presence, uh, unfortunately, a lot of people have the feeling that, oh yeah, I'm going to treat it like a day job, but I should get paid for that. Well, no, it's not like that. If you want to get paid, you need to work for it. Um, and there are other things that I don't do for two reasons. Because number one, as I said, I don't want to put advertising on my channel. So that influences the way my channel is promoted by YouTube or not promoted by YouTube. And the other thing is that I am very careful about not having a channel growth that would bottleneck me, because I am just one person. And as I said before, I can only work a few hours a day in the morning before I get too tired to do anything. So if I would be faced with, yes, that's why I put the link there. Um, if I would be faced with a channel growth that would be too rapid, that would bottleneck me. I do not have the strength and the health to allow me to, you know, keep up with a very fast-paced growing channel. So I'm taking baby steps. I do have my little plan. I'm kind of trying to keep up with it with very realistic goals. The ones of you who know me from Facebook, you know that I'm making a big list at the beginning of the day, and if I manage to do half of what's on that list, I am super happy. If I manage to do one thing that's on that list, I'm happy, because that means that I was able to do something that day. And so, most of the ladies who follow me know exactly what I'm talking about, because there are days when you cannot do anything just because your body doesn't allow you, the medication you're on might not allow you, the because let me put it this way, I'm one of those people who has to take opiate pain control. I don't like it. um, I hope that they will finish with the legalizing the marijuana in my state, but on the other hand, I have no idea if it's going to help me. I started vaping the CBD oil and it helps a little bit, but for me to be able to move, I need pain management. I never take the full dose that my doctor prescribes, because that would completely knock me out. And I don't see the reason to want to live a life in which you're sleeping all the time. That's no life. So I take enough to dampen the pain to bearable levels so I can function. Um, and I don't know, maybe 80% of my subscribers and my followers are people who have pretty much the same issues, more or less. Bonjour, Anxenamon. They are all in each video that I make. If you look in the video description, I always, um, they are all in the video description. And I say how you can contact me, and I say how you can help me with everything. So, yeah, I mean, you can find all that information, and it's on my website as well. And if you go on the channel page from here, you can also find all those links. Ça va, pas mal. Oh yeah, and I promise that I will say what I did with the vaping. So this is a thing that's called Blue. It comes in a little kit. The pods are supposedly disposable. I mean, it's very simple. It gets charged by a little thing that you put in the USB, and it comes with pods that are filled with nicotine liquid. But I figured out how to empty the nicotine in it and then refill the pods with the CBD vaping liquid. So that's what I am using. I do have a bigger tank that I got, and I got it online for $20 because the CBD shop was selling it for 40. But this is one, I like this one much better because it's much slimmer. And the only problem is that I periodically lose it around the house. But it is really good. And I noticed that if I take like 5 or 6 puffs, it helps with my pain for at least a couple hours. I might have to um, go and puff again, but it really helps. So yeah, if you want, I can put the link after the video is over with where I got this. And maybe if I make the new channel, I'll show you how to hack into emptying the disposable pod, emptying the nicotine, and refill it with the CBD vaping liquid. But yeah, and I was a vapor for quite a while, so that really helps. But do you have any other questions? Because I'm reaching, as I said, I didn't put yet my. Yes, it does. I did, as I said, I didn't put yet my chair again, so I don't have good back support, so my back starts hurting. I've been up and about for over an hour, and you all know that usually after an hour I start getting back muscle spasms, so it hurts. So I thank you for being here with me and look forward to all the nice things that I intend to do, and I sure hope that my health will allow me to do. And happy Halloween. And I'm going to try and do more stuff about Halloween. Oh, yeah, and another thing that I'm going to post, because I got many requests. I never post WIP, work in progress videos, and I have very few pieces out of what I make on YouTube. Well, there's one reason for that, because I don't really have time to make those, because if I make a tutorial every other day, I'm kind of worn out and I don't have time to make separate uh, pieces, but I'm still doing a few, so I will post some work in progress stuff on what I'm working. So once again, thank you for being here with me, and I will see you on the 19th, probably around 5 or 6 p.m. CDT, and we'll celebrate together 9 years of me surviving cancer. So see you on the 19th. Goodbye. And bye, everyone. Have a wonderful weekend. And I'll see you tomorrow during the live. Remember, we'll finish the skull earrings and pendant. Have a great weekend.